Hey guys, I'm Davey Wavy, and I don't really talk about my relationship with Chad that much, but one thing I really want you guys to know is that we are in an open relationship. And I think the reason I want you guys to know that is because when I was growing up, I didn't see any examples of people living in open relationships. I didn't even know it was an option. And I want everyone to have the freedom to choose the relationship structure that works for them. So we recently filmed a video called Play Party for Himmerose.tv, which is all about this free and open expression of love and sex, and I'll share more about that in a minute. But before we do that, I want to share some open relationship and monogamy myths that totally blew my mind, and maybe they'll blow yours. Maybe they'll even blow something else. Okay? Okay. Alright, so monogamy myth number 1. If you love someone, then you cannot have sex with someone else. That is I don't know what Hallmark card made that a reality, but you hear it all the time. I can personally tell you that you can fuck someone while loving someone else. Now, it's totally fair to say that fucking that person can be a violation of the boundaries that you have created, but it's not like fucking someone while you love someone else is sneezing with your eyes open, or peeing and ejaculating at the same time. It's not like it is not physically possible. In other words, it is possible. That was too many double negatives and it's Friday, so. Myth number 2, monogamy is really old. The truth is, actually, I'm almost as old as monogamy is. Even if your only experience of history is watching the fictional show Mad Men, you know that through the 1960s and way long before that, there were affairs, mistresses, lovers, concubines, brothels. Presidents of the United States had mistresses and people knew about it, but it wasn't a big deal because that's just the way that it was. What's totally fucked up in all of that was that this freedom, this sexual freedom, was extended to men, but rarely extended to women. But somewhere around the 1960s or 70s, rather than extend that freedom to women, we then applied those same restrictions to men. So then it became this today's modern flavor of monogamy. It's also worth noting that look, our definition of relationships, our expectations around relationships, and monogamy is all of that has changed and evolved over time, and it will continue to do so. And when you look at it that way, it's kind of man, all this shit is just really fucking arbitrary, right? Why do we buy into this particular definition now at this point in our culture and in time? Find what fucking works for you. Myth number 3, the only currency of commitment that you can express to someone else is sexual exclusivity. I get that not having sex with other people is one way to express that you're committed to your partner, but there are a zillion other ways. With my partner, I express that we're committed by making myself available to him, by supporting him, by being there for one another, by listening to him. There are a lot of ways to express that you're committed to someone that have nothing to do with having sex with only them. Myth number 4, and I know this is big for a lot of people. I hate to break it to you. I actually don't hate to break it to you. I love telling people this. You're not monogamous. You're really not. What is monogamous anyway? I mean, you have probably had Tinder on your phone and have talked to, I don't think you're just talking to one person on Tinder. That is an expression of non-monogamy. Your memory is not monogamous. You still remember sexual experiences. You probably go to that spank bank pretty often. Your imagination is not monogamous. You watch porn, and that's not monogamous, and you're fantasizing in your mind about having sex with other people. So it's really just a question of how monogamous you are, where you fall on that spectrum, or phrased differently, how open you are. All right, so let's talk about some open relationship myths. Number 1, the myth is that open relationships can fix bad closed relationships. You kind of see this Hail Mary pass that couples that are really struggling, they're you know what, let's try to open things up and see if that helps. I can promise you, if you have a bad closed relationship, you are going to have a bad open relationship. Good open relationships are built on a really strong, solid foundation of communication, trust, understanding. If you don't have that in your closed relationship, it's not gonna magically happen in an open relationship. Myth number 2, open relationships don't have boundaries. In fact, they do. Everyone does open relationships differently. There's not one size fits all. Some couples only fuck other people. Some couples have primary partners and secondary partners. Some people have sex with other people, but then they don't talk about it. Some people have sex with other people and they do talk about it. It's really about figuring out what relationship structure works for you and your partner, and that's gonna be different from person to person. Myth number 3, people in open relationships are no longer attracted to one another. Look at my boyfriend. Look at this boy. He is the most handsome man. He's so fucking hot. And I can promise you that we're not in an open relationship because I'm not attracted to him. In fact, actually, what I find is like when I have sex with another person and then I talk about it with my partner and we communicate about it, like that whole process actually makes me even more attracted to him, because I'm like, fuck, like this guy has confidence and we communicate together, and it just makes me getting hard just thinking about it. Myth number 4, people in open relationships don't get jealous. I think I feel jealousy a lot less than maybe the typical person, but there are times, like I'm a human being, where you do feel jealous about one thing or another. What's different is that in open relationships, you deal with that jealousy differently. In closed relationships, I feel like it's dealt with through control and it's expressed with shame. And in open relationships, it's more about openness and curiosity, if that makes sense. And when I talk about like what my feelings are, or if I'm jealous about something, if I can communicate that with my partner, like I always feel better. I always leave the situation feeling better about it. We talk about it. We talk about our feelings. I know guys aren't supposed to do that, but you know what? It works for us. So like 10 years ago, I made this video, a horrible video, called like Are Open Relationships Right For You? I say it's horrible just because it's painful. It's like with my webcam. Anyway, I said something in the video that really resonates still with me today. And I said, you know, is an open relationship right for you? Is a closed relationship right for you? I don't know, but I do know there is one sort of relationship that is right for you, and that is an honest relationship. An honest relationship with yourself, and an honest relationship with your partner or partners. It's hard, to be honest, especially if you're with someone right now and it's a closed relationship and you want to be open. Like those are really difficult conversations to have, and it might mean at the end of the day that you guys aren't on the same page. But whatever it is that you want, I can promise you, in a world with 7 billion people, there is at least one other person out there that wants what you want.